All right, going to be doing another comic review from a book sent to me by my friend Chris. Thank you as always, brother. Today we're going to be talking about Transformers Volume 4, Conquer and Control. This is the end of Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers run. This doesn't mean it's the end of the Transformers comic in general. As you guys know, issue 25 was the official start of Robert Kirkman's run, which now it seems like Kirkman and Williamson will be basically running the Energon universe. Although I do imagine if they do more, they'll probably have more writers when more titles show up. I have had this sneaking suspicion that, because Williamson and Kirkman are busy. I'm surprised the two of them have stayed on. And Daniel Warren Johnson, and this is not a knock against him, I always figured he wasn't going to be around forever. I've never really seen him do an ongoing for this long. Also, there were some personal reasons that he had departed due to, I think I've heard mental health reasons. If that's true, then, more power to him. But I kind of figured, his style of writing and drawing, doing the artwork as well as the writing, was going to be difficult for Johnson. So I'm surprised. He said that initially the run was supposed to last for 50 issues, but he truncated it to 24 due to various, art. And also, his artwork is very meticulous. So the fact that we got 24 issues out of the guy is really cool. But getting back to my point is that I'm sure we'll have other writers once other titles are going to appear out of the Energon universe. I'm pretty sure it won't be just Kirkman and Williamson doing all the lifting for this comic series. We do know that Mask is out there. So if we get a Mask title, we could see another writer on it. We could see... I talked about this with I would love to see Inhumanoids, but apparently there's a rights issue. So Inhumanoids would be perfect here, but I don't know if they can get that or not. My good friend Matt did say the Visionaries should come back. So Visionaries, that would be cool. Maybe get Sophie Campbell. She's really good at fantasy stuff. And I think she could do Visionaries. Maybe get... Maybe we could do another G.I. Joe title focused around Flint's team, Night Force, have Kelly Thompson write that, or a Scarlet ongoing. I have no doubt when Snake Eyes finally shows up, by the way, I have no doubt in my mind that when Snake Eyes finally makes his appearance in this comic series, he's going to get an ongoing. There's no doubt. Maybe Thompson can do that book, actually. Anyway, let's talk about the comic itself. So... This, like I said, is the wrap-up of Danny Warren Johnson's time on the comic, and we now follow that Megatron is here. Megatron has finally made his appearance in the Energon universe, and my good friend Jason said this is probably the most brutal incarnation of Megatron we've had in a long time. And he ain't lying. This is arguably one of the most brutal incarnations of Megatron I've ever seen. I haven't seen a Megatron this savage since Prime, since Transformers. In fact, a lot of this version of Megatron reminds me a lot of the absolute savagery that Prime Universe Megatron had. But Megatron has returned. And we also get a little bit of his backstory. Apparently, he was kidnapped off-world and encountered a Quintesson that basically put him through a time, a loop, again and again to, teach him some kind of trial. And there was someone behind it all. I'm kind of leaning towards Unicron, but at the same time, is Unicron also the thing in the ring from Void Rivals? That's another, major question I've been curious about. But yeah. That's been my thought process, is that it could be Unicron, or it could be one of the lead Quintessons, because we are marching towards the Quintesson War. But yeah, so the story has Megatron return and uniting the Decepticons under his banner, and yeah, we also find out that because remember, Optimus is using Megatron's gun arm in this comic, and we find out that Megatron is so corrupt and evil. We had that feeling in the third volume. He's so malicious and corrupt that his very essence is poisoning the well of all the Allspark itself, the Matrix of Leadership, and Optimus is now got to rip it off like a cancer. We also get there was also the matter of a new Autobot born on Cybertron called Shredhead, who travels to Earth thanks to Cliffjumper, who Alita, they do this a lot with Alita in a lot of comics, whether it be Devil's Due or IDW or even now, where Alita is now like very ends justify the means, like a dark, like she's almost like the Saw Gerrera of the Autobots. But getting back on topic, we have that going on. Shredhead is a neat addition. And we also get another Joe show up in this comic, Doc, Doc, apparently something happened to him. He was a chaplain instead of a medic. And in here, something happened to him. It's implied that he was captured, he was a POW, and something happened to him that made him lose his faith. I have no doubt we're probably going to get more of him in G.I. Joe, because obviously he's a Joe, so looking forward to that. I like his connection with Ultra Magnus. It does feel a little rushed of his heel turn to like help Ultra Magnus get away from General Flag. But yeah, we also get that's one of the minor things I have here is that like I said, this was meant to go for 50 issues and it's truncated to the final issues 19 to 24. So yeah, it does feel like there's a bit of a rush, but it does feel like there's time for the comic to breathe at various points. Like there's a lot of breathing room for the comic itself, and I really do appreciate that. And again, it's Daniel fucking Warren Johnson. Of course you're going to get great, you're just going to get images like this. That's going to be one of the things I miss, but it is cool that Dan Mora is going to be taking over Transformers. He's one of the best artists out there. So if anyone was going to take over from Daniel Warren Johnson, it was going to be Dan Mora. But yeah, there are the thing is, like, a lot of characters do get killed off, have been killed off in this comic, and same with the Joes. Is that there's really it basically has this whole Game of Thrones thing of no one is safe, and there are some deaths in here that make you go, oh my god, they killed that character. But that's been part of the course with even this in G.I. Joe, and it does give a lot of love to lesser characters. But yeah, yeah. It is a solid continuation. It's a somber storyline. We also get to see more of like humanity seeing that the Autobots are good guys, and this is probably the best Optimus. This is the best incarnation of Optimus I have seen in years. Not a psychopath, but also like he's not willing to just be like pull a Steven Universe and be like, all is forgiven. I really do like that, like, there's a moment where Megatron's down, and he's like, please stop, Optimus. He's like, oh, you ain't getting mercy. Like, after everything? And just Sparta kicks him off the building. Yeah. All in all, great comic, great finish for Danny Warren Johnson's run, and I can't wait to see how Kirkman and Mora continue the book. But yeah, you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this volume of Transformers, of the Energon Universe Transformers? Like it, hate it, comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in Multiverse.